Today's thought project is repurposing old knives with new handles. I went to Goodwill and I found some old knives that have wooden handles. These handles are all beat up and looking pretty bad. So what I did was I carefully removed all the wood and I just preserved a piece of steel from it. I removed the brass brads that come in the center. Just took a hacksaw and cut those off. They come right off. They're actually pretty easy to get off. And then I sanded it a little bit, got rid of some of the rust. This one is particularly pitted. So this is an old knife and it'll be fun to refinish it. So I had some old cabinets that I just removed the veneer from, and underneath is a nice solid hard, I think that's maple or it could be oak. I'm pretty sure these were marked as maple cabinets. And anyway, the wood is nice and solid. So I just carefully took the knife and laid it out onto my wood, traced it out, marked the holes, measured the depth of this part of the blade, and I set my saw on my table saw to be the depth that I needed it to be. And then I just ran it through so it was in the center. So this is what it is when I finished it. And now I've got it set so that it fits in and the holes line up. Instead of using these brass button things, I'm going to use some old chopsticks that I had. And I'm going to put these together with chopsticks, cut them off, sand them down, and we'll get a wooden area so that when I'm doing my engraving, I will have the ability to engrave right over the chopstick. So we'll get that going. That's pretty cool. Those bamboo chopsticks have kind of a little pattern to them. I like it. Fun little stuff that comes out. So now let's walk over to the laser cutter and we'll set up the space here. I've got a little What Ranch logo that I made. It's just a simple What Ranch with a circle around it. And then the other side is probably going to be my octopus. I've been playing with an octopus shape. This is a octopus that I did that's grabbing a mushroom. Why the octopus is on a mushroom is really none of your business. But anyway, let's try to put that on. It'll be very small. I have another version of this one. Maybe I'll do that. That would be kind of cool. You know, drop it down in size and my What Ranch logo on the other. So let's walk over to the laser and I'll show you how I'm going to set this up so I know exactly where I'm cutting. This is my 40-watt Sunku laser cutter. Check out my videos on how to repurpose this. When it came, it only had a small little opening and it wasn't big enough to work with, but I've repurposed it. I put in an adjustable bed. I put in this grate. I've also got these marker keys here where I can lock stuff in. I know where these points are on my screen, and so I can adjust my cuts. But for this purpose, I want this to sit here, but I'm not going to try to guess where I want to try to get the laser to line up. So what I'm going to do is I've got a piece of scrap wood, and I'll throw this in here. Magnets help hold it in place. First we go to engrave. Then we're going to set it on cutting, which it's at. I'm going to set it at 5 millimeters per second. And we're gonna do this, I think it's gonna, well, I don't want to do it at 5. We'll do the first one at 5, then we'll speed it up to cut through the rest of it, because it won't make it in one pass, but it won't take long. So let's do that. And then here we're gonna set this up at about 15 or 20. That's really soft wood. So here we go. Hit start. Okay, and now that we know exactly where the blade is going to sit, get this out of here. It's a little tight. There. So now, as long as my engraving remains on the inside of this red box, then it'll be on the inside of this knife handle. Now, one thing I'm going to think about is I'm going to cut this part, and I want to round this off, and I want to round that off. So I really want to hit just this center right here and stay away from the edges, because I want those rounded. I want to be able to sand and buff. But this surface right here is pretty much my final surface, because once I've engraved it, if I sand it, I'll lose some of the engraving. This is really hard wood compared to this, so I don't know how deep I'll be able to go. I'm going to turn it up to the max, and we'll see what we can do. But to get my piece of art in the same place, I take note of where my center is, 79,129. And there's my note paper for this kind of thing. So my center, I want this to be 79,129 and 34065. And then I'm taking those from my center X and my center Y, which corresponds to that number right there. So now I will bring in the piece of art. And this would be what ranch? So you can see it's way too big. We know that the width is 165 or whatever. So I'm going to bring this down about like that. Let's go to 79,129 and 34065. 34065. Now I know that I'm in the center of the handle, but I still don't know how big I'm going to be. 137 by 39. And since we said that we are 36 wide, we want to go down to, I want to put it in the middle about there, so I'm going to go 20 millimeters wide. And this is set to scale, so if I bring this down, let's go 20. I'm excited about this, but it's always an experiment. So, my option is to engrave pixel by pixel or to do an outline cut. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pixel by pixel first, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to outline the whole thing to really burn it into that wood. Because I have a feeling that bamboo isn't going to etch at all. So let's see what happens. So I'm in engraving. I'd leave the default at 200 millimeters per second. That's fine. I'm not going to repeat it. We might repeat it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to set my gauge to, I'm going to go up and like I was cutting it, because I'm sure this is going to be hard to cut. So here we go. And I will put you on fast forward. Okay. So it did get right into the
that chopstick, but that's okay. You got a shadow. I think I'm going to go ahead and do an outline on it next and just see if we can burn it in a little deeper. So let's go. Okay, probably should have just left well enough alone. Looks pretty bad because it singed the outer layers pretty good. I'm going to try to sand that down and we'll see what comes out of it. There's always the other side. So let's take it over and sand it.
Let's put an octopus on the other side. That'll look pretty cool. Okay, I've laid out my octopus from my octopus box and trimmed out the lower part of his tentacles so that he kind of fits in the center. I brought it into my laser program, my center point 79129 and 34165. Whoops, should be 065. Tenth of a millimeter could make a difference. And then I want to rotate this puppy. The height of the whole thing is 27, but I've got white space there and there. That's going to be close. That brings it out to 45. So let's see where 45. Well, let's go to 7934. So that's the center. My press is right there. I can feel the air. If I am at, I'm looking at this pink line right there. If I am at 46 millimeters, that's the very peak, and 22 is the bottom. And we said 79 was the middle. So that's going to be right there. And we said the bottom was 22. So we're a little bit off center. I'm going to bring it up I want to split the difference. I've got 9, so bring it up 5, I think. I got 9 or 10, but I think the top of it should be higher. So let's bring this position up to, don't forget to set your laser back to 1 and 1, or it starts off in that center spot and then goes over. So let's go, we're gonna add 5 to the center. We're at 34, we'll go to 39. Okay, so I just moved that 5 millimeters that way. So I'm 5 millimeters this way. I'm good. Probably should have left it on those at that lower 5, a little bit up close to the edge, and I'm going to want to round this off, so I'm going to lose some of my octopus, but that's okay because I also am planning to, I'm going to cut this handle like this, so we'll make it work. Let's take it over and sand that down a little bit and see what it looks like.
That's nice. Look at that. The other chopstick is in his eyeball. That's perfect. I love it when things work out like that. That's the joy and happiness. Well, thanks for watching another episode. I will cut you in on the next edition when I take this over to my friend's house who has some good woodworking tools and we can shape the handle. But anyway, there we go. What wrench, octopus, butcher knife. Not bad for a first try at a knife handle, but I just wanted to show you my thought experiment. Can I replace the handle on a knife? And it looks like I can. So as long as I don't screw it up when I... Anyway, I've got lots of knives and I've got lots of wood and I've got the time. Thanks for watching.